Hellbent on 2%, but at what cost? Hey, it's Eric Osnes here with ericismybanker.com and CMG Home Loans with my weekly update on mortgage rates for the week ending, wow, June 16, 2023. Well, we waited expectantly for this week's CPI inflation statistics and the FOMC, the Federal Open Market Committee decision on interest rates. Those all went our way, and it was favorable for mortgage rates. In fact, the Fed paused hiking rates for this meeting at least, and the CPI numbers showed that inflation was waning. Additionally, jobless claims came in for the week elevated at 262,000 for the week, also good for interest rates. But did rates fall as expected? No. Why? Well, let's blame it on the Fed. They are dead set on reducing that overall inflation rate to 2% at any cost. And that cost will probably be a recession or worse, as stress in the regional banking system is a real concern. Even with a weakness in this week's inflation numbers, 9 Federal Reserve members indicated they want to hike rates at least 2 more times this year. They've already hiked an unprecedented 10 times in the past 12 months. Bonds rallied initially on the inflation news and the Fed's pause, pushing rates lower, only to head higher after speeches from several Fed governors. This is a recurring pattern that will most likely continue until the inflation statistics are to their liking. So for the week, interest rates are slightly higher. Here's the national averages. Conventional 30-year fixed rate, 6.94% up, about 0.04 from a week ago. 15-year fixed rate, 6.29. That's pretty much flat from last week. FHA and VA 30-year fixed rates, 6.62%. That's up about 0.04 as well. And 30-year fixed rate jumbo, 6.7%, up about 0.03 from a week ago. Moving on, let's look at the cost of waiting to buy. Okay, so rates are not cooperating just yet. Don't worry, they will come down as the economy slows. But can we say the same thing about home prices? Inventories are still very tight and they're expected to remain so. Home prices will continue to rise, even though interest rates are still elevated from where we have been in the past. Nationally, 33% of all homes selling right now are selling higher than the list price. And we've experienced the same thing in the Pacific Northwest. Inventories at the moment, though, are up a little bit due to our seasonal influx of summer listings. So that part is good for us. With rates still elevated but prices rising, does it make sense to wait for rates to fall before you buy? Well, let's take a look at a recent transaction that I worked on in Ballard. This home was listed at $998,000. Our client's offer was accepted at $1,042,000, so $44,000 higher than the list price. But with average appreciation historically in our area, looking back even over the last 5 years, been a lot more than that in recent years, our client was smart to buy now rather than waiting a year for rates to fall. That same home is estimated to be worth about $1,102,000 in a year, 60,000, a little over $60,000 higher than what it's worth right now. And diving deeper, oh, by the way, we did an appraisal on that property, and the appraisal supported our buyer's sale price at $1,042,000. So it didn't come in at the list price; it came in much higher at the sales price. So let's dive a little bit deeper. How much would it have cost our client to wait? If we factor in the cost to refinance, which, by the way, we have a special for all loans closing between now and the end of the year. We waive all of our administration fees, appraisal, admin, credit report, tax service fee. We also give a $1,000 credit towards title and escrow fees, so it's really cheap to refinance. And that deal runs for 5 years after your loan is closed, as long as it closes before the end of the year. But if we look at the numbers on that, if our client waited a year to buy, paid $1,102,000 for that property instead of $1,042,000, they waited their interest rate. Let's say it goes from 6.5% down to 5.5%. They would save about $263 a month off of their monthly payment. But how much would they lose? They'd lose $60,000 in appreciation. They lose about $9,300 in amortization gain, by making their mortgage payments. It would cost money to refinance, and the payment differential be a little over $3,000. All in, they would still lose over $65,000 by waiting a year for interest rates to fall. So let that sink in a little bit. It's absolutely rational to think you're better off waiting for rates to fall before buying. It makes the home more affordable. But looking at the bigger picture reveals there's a lot more to it than just the interest rate. If you like analysis like this, I can look up properties nationwide. I can plug in historical appreciation rates to really help you take a deeper dive into the analysis of whether it makes sense for you to buy now or to wait. Just reach out. You can call me, 206-915-3742. That's 206-915-ERIC, easy to remember. You can email me, eric@ericismybanker.com. Or you can look for me on social media. Just look for Eric is my banker, and be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you get these weekly updates every single week. That's all I've got for this week. I hope you have a great weekend. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, and I'll talk to you next week.